Hey guys, Earl Dixon. Today we're going to be sharing a program which you call FastBNB, where you can make 3% a day on your BNB, 3% a day. When you make a deposit, like $100, it will pay you 270% if you use the AUX format. 270% on your money. As far as paying you 3% a day, that's what's withdrawable. The money really comes out your wallet instant when you request it, and you get that 207%. I love the program. I'm a digital currency educator. I got a group of people called the Change Network. If you'd love to come join our team, get the training that I give every day to help people get started with crypto. They call me the Bitcoin man. Hang in here. We should be getting started with this presentation in just a second. You can become a part of the Change Network. Just simply call me at 919-530-8022. 919-530-8022, and we will give you the information you need to come join our wonderful team and to get my one-on-one coaching. I'm a financial literacy and cryptocurrency education person. So get in touch with me as soon as possible. Thank you. And guys, one more thing you'll need what we call fast BNB. You'll need smart chain BNB. You can't use regular BNB. And if you don't know how to do that, reach out to me. I'll hold your hand, show you how to convert regular BNB, how to purchase BNB, how to convert it to smart chain. I look forward to talking to you guys soon. This will be with the owner of the company today, this presentation, and come over, get this information, and learn where the company is going. It will be around for a while, is what they're saying. Thank you. We should begin starting in just a minute, everybody. So hold on to your seats. The owner of the platform will be here, and we will begin our journey learning about FastBNB and the future of it. Thank you.
All right. What's up, Facebook group? I'm going to go ahead and start this. I'm actually going to stream it to our Facebook group too. So, people that aren't on the Zoom can see it in our Facebook group. And if you're coming on, make sure you stay muted. And when Baman gets on, I'm just going to do interview style. There's obviously way too many people to start doing Q&As. So I have a list of questions that I got from, a bunch of different people. And I figured I would just ask those questions. So let me go here and make sure. It's going to come up on Facebook in a second. I'm going to make a lot of noise. Just ask this question. So, okay. All right. So we're streaming in Facebook too. How you guys doing? Good morning. I'm in Colorado, getting ready to head back to the Dominican Republic. Can't wait to get in that sunny weather because it is cold here. I don't know why people are here. Honestly, I love the sun and the beach. But so my name's Brian Rhodes. I was fortunate enough to come across this from a really, really good friend that I, trusted his opinion. He does research. He really understands, basically does his research, if you could say it the least. Like, he's been in the industry for 20, 30 years. He's a good mentor, coach, basically a really good friend. And he said, hey, would you be interested? I'm not going to tell you all of it because it was like the day before Christmas. It's like, in yield farming, BNB coin. And I was like, well, yeah, smart chain. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, that's perfect. Because if you know anything about BNB or the smart chain, it's, honestly, to me, it's the quickest to send. It's very low fees, anything I've ever used. And it's just really easy. I like MetaMask. I like Trust Wallet. I like using everything. So, it wasn't too hard to say, yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it. And, so I jumped on a Zoom with him and actually had Vaman on. So I was like, wow, that's the CEO of the company. Interesting. Now I'll definitely take a stronger look at it, because most times in these companies, you don't really get to talk to the CEO. You don't know who he is, or, you're hoping that stuff doesn't just disappear because there's no face to the company. So once I got here, Baman was like, yeah, let's do Zooms. Yeah, I'll talk to that person. Yeah, I'll do this. And then, finding out he did a 450 person fly-in to India, and then he's done another fly-in as well. So that was something that really, to me, was like, wow, all right, this guy is just out there in the forefront. He's showing his face. He's, meeting with people, doing Zooms, saying he's the owner, because that meant a lot to me. And then, I was fortunate to get on a call with him the other day, and he kind of showed a lot of detail on what's going on. Make sure you stay muted on here. I can't keep up with everybody. There's a lot of people on here. We got to respect everybody. And so the stuff he showed us, and I had some people on there that they know a lot more about smart contracts, crypto, trading, yield farming, liquidity farming, mining, basically anything and everything about it. And to hear them ask the questions, and then they're just like, they were so excited that it got me excited. If you ever, you know what I mean? Like, you're just like, okay, these guys obviously know everything they're talking about, and they're pumped, and they're like, hey, we like how you showed us how you make money in this program. This isn't just, taking our money and paying someone else with that money, and that's one thing that I wanted to make sure was true too. So, that's one thing we talked about the other day, and then we set up this call. So I know he's getting ready to pop on, and if he is on, if you are, come on, let me know, because there's just a lot of people on here, and I don't know, I can't keep up with the amount of people that are coming in. So, what?
Mr. Baman, come on.
So let me know if you're on, Baman, and then we can get started.
Yeah, hi, Brian. Very good evening to everyone. In fact, very good morning to all of you in the other part of the world.
Good morning. Good evening to you, sir. So I was just telling a little bit of my story, how I came into this, and then how you took your time to talk to me. And hold on, there's somebody in the background. There we go. All right. Couldn't figure out how to mute everybody without them unmuting themselves. I have to figure that out next. So remember, respect this. Stay muted, please, and we will go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pin you, Vermont, and I'll pin myself up here. Add pin. So we're both pinned on the front now. And so I told a little bit of my story, and just the fact that you took your time to talk to me, and I was like, wow, this is awesome, and I'm learning all about it. I'm just an excited person, just to be able to speak to someone like yourself that created this, and to me that's like gives it a way more relationship and feel to it. And we've built a relationship. I'm sick now. You were sick for like the past 2 weeks, and yeah, everybody's going through something right now. So now we have 300 people on here, and I guess to start, because a lot of people probably haven't met you yet or heard a little bit about you, but I guess how about maybe just telling us a little bit about your background and who you are, and then we can get started.
Okay, thanks, Brian. I'm sorry to hear that you're not well, because all of us are going through some unprecedented times during this time. So stay safe, stay at home, and take care of your health, because health is the foremost thing we should worry about right now. I was not well for the last 2 weeks. So now I'm perfectly fine and well, and going ahead with the business model that we have all set up. And first of all, before I start introducing myself, I'd like to thank everyone, because without you, this wouldn't be possible. Because in crypto, we believe in community, we believe in people joining us, and our utmost responsibility is taking care of our community, and growing with them is our mission and vision. Okay, so moving forward with a small introduction of myself. I'm a crypto enthusiast, a technocrat as well. My business career longs back to around 18 years. I'm grown old. I'm 46 right now. So keeping that in mind, and I'm a B school graduate, an MBA in finance and marketing, and also done mass communication and journalism. So that's my educational background. But IT and crypto has always attracted me, because I wanted to grow my career with it. And seeing crypto for the last 8 to 9 years, from the inception of BNB to various other coins, I have found that growing with crypto and taking this mission forward with various platforms into tokenization, into real estate, and various other, the future technologies that are coming in, that has created a urge into my mind and my heart that we bring up with something which we could actually create more entrepreneurs, as we say in networking. So keeping that in mind, we have developed such platforms which will create a history in the coming 2 to 3 years. So that's why we are here today, and I myself have been involved in various development of blockchain projects with various renowned companies, and still we have a team of around 25 to 26 senior blockchain developers who are on the job of developing various platforms, which I will be explaining you in the due course of time in this Zoom meeting. That's it, Brian.
Right. Did you want to share that PDF? I know you're time crunched too, that you went over the other day. Did you want to go through that?
Yeah, I think, okay, can you just give me...
Make you co-host too. And because I think that would be good to go over that, and then we can ask some questions too. I see a lot of questions popping in there, which are good, but obviously we got our questions that we went over. All right, make sure. Hi, everybody, man. 323 people. Can say it's FastBNB for sure, huh? We are growing very, very fast. You know.
Brian, just give me a couple of minutes so that I can set up the whole stuff.
No problem.
Yeah.
Go ahead, waiting. Every time I check that waiting room, there's 10 more people in it. So this is pretty cool. So welcome everybody. If you haven't took a picture of how many people on the Zoom, you should probably take a picture of it, maybe put it on your social media.
That's what I've been doing that, man.
Just saying, this is pretty exciting. People are going to be like, what are you on? What is going on here? So,
nice, Brian, to see something good in the crypto world, because there's a lot of things going on that are not right, like with Larry, that I was before with other things, just a lot of things that just, they don't work right. You know what I'm getting at, right?
Right. It's good to see a face of the company too, you know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So we need more in the world transparency, right? That's what we need. The internet sometimes, we're just a message, right? We're just a chat box. So.
No, I agree. All right, here we go. That's my first question. How does this platform generate 3%? Well, here we go.
Okay, so Brian, your question, like the last time when I made this presentation of how do FastBNB contract generates up to 3% profit every day. That's the maximum that the contract generates, okay? And that's the distribution actually. So going through the presentation, there are two factors which enables the FastBNB smart contract generate 3% daily. The ability, number one, the ability to cover short-term, which we call it as smart short-term debt interest, shareholders and creditors taking advantage, which we call it as smart short-term liquidity. And next is represents the sum of all assets deposited in decentralized finance, that is DeFi protocols, earning rewards, interest, new coins, and tokens, fixed income, which we call it as total value collected. So going over a descriptive explanation, I'd like to say, what is smart short-term liquidity? This term refers to offering another smart contract a collateral loan for a very short time, like few blocks, till they make trade and exit the same. So another smart contract collateral is hold till its liquidation price and surge charge of about 3 to 5%, which is included while retaining the amount. So small example, for example, we first sent 0.15 BNB to contract, and after a few blocks of trade, the contract returns back with 1.646 in total, making final balance as 1.7437 BNB. As I explained you, we have our YouTube channel, FastBNB's YouTube channel. You have a descriptive YouTube video explaining the whole concept out here. Now, for example, we first sent 0.15 BNB to contract, and after a few blocks of trade, the contract has written 1.646 in total, making final balance as 1.7437. So it's a win-win for FastBNB by holding collateral or borrowing contract and generating 3 to 5% every single smart short-term liquidity contract. Okay. Now, next is total value collected. This is a term used in staking platforms where some part of TVC is staked using FastBNB smart contract, which yields safely as good as 6 to 8% up to 90 days. So let us take some examples over here. These are the sum of contracts where yield staking can be done. Like you can see, this is one example, Zuki based BUSD. It has a current volume of $0.04 million. And now annual percent yield as good as 4,719%. So now we have, if we divide 4,719 by 365 days, it comes to be good as 13% a day. So our responsibility, this is our auto smart contract, does this job where it collects such informations and executes the bot to perform such execution. Another example, Ginja versus USDT has a volume of $0.1 million and has annual percent yield of 3,063%. When divided by 365 days, comes to around 8% daily. So these are the above high liquidity yield strategy that with using 100% automated verified smart contract presents you the best of your investment. That's it, in short. Yes, Brian, over to Brian.
No, I like it. So thanks for sharing that, because that gives everybody an idea on how the company is making money. So, you know, with the BNB. I know this question, the audit, who's doing the audit and when can we see the audit?
The audit is already live in our website. You can go and click the audit report and you'll find the audit report out there, Brian.
Is that on the bottom?
Yes.
All right. So there you go. If you go check on the bottom of the website, it'll be down there. And then next question, you know, is the platform sustainable at the current payout rate? So obviously you showed a little bit about that, but you know.
So can I repeat your question, Brian, once again?
Is the platform sustainable at the current payout rates? Like, are we going to continue to get 3%? You know?
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. In fact, FastBNB is proven itself to be sustainable in all conditions, hence making a business of over $11 million in January 2022 itself. So the maximum payout is 3% daily, which is sustainable compared to amount of ROI FastBNB makes from short-term liquidity and APY staking. Another, see, every business runs obviously on technology, but there has to be a proper business model on how you are running the technology. I'm an investor out here. I belong to an investment portfolio. Everyone who is present out here has a portfolio of their own. So keeping that in mind, my basic in sense says that what is the risk factor when I'm investing in any assets that comes into my investment portfolio? I consider that the investment ratio of the risk factor has to be zero. So in FastBNB, your risk factor diminishes on every block of the Binance Smart Chain because the yields are being given on every block of the Binance Smart Chain. So that is a combination of the business model and the technology together. And if anybody comes up with yielding, your farm yielding in ox farming, your investment or your whatever you are putting in gets clear and risk-free in 33rd day. That's the beauty of the business model.
I like that aspect too. Hold on, let me mute somebody that came on. So another question, kind of like the long-term vision here. You know what? Like I know we've already talked about this some in different Zooms. Like it's not just FastBNB. There's a lot coming into this. Your roadmap, your vision. That's what actually inspired me to just get started and started sharing this. And now we have 300 something people on the Zoom, which is incredible. But so if you could give them kind of like a roadmap, long-term vision of what you have.
As you know, starting from, I'll take, it's worth mentioning the father of crypto, that is Satoshi Nakamoto. When he created Bitcoin, his only target of the code that he created was to bring in more community to the code that he developed. So his vision has been successfully achieved, and today we see the highest of Bitcoin achieving at least $67,000. So that's the business model that Satoshi Nakamoto created in his code. So keeping that in mind, since its launch, FastBNB has been consistently acquiring more users, and incoming users is targeted at 2 million by the end of December 2022. As of now, globally, as per DappRider's report, we have 70,000 users in our platform. And the target of at least 100K BNB balance in our smart contract by 2022. Not only that, our mission is to acquire 38 million BNB addresses who are holding at least 0.1 BNB. So on a long run, we aim to reach all those users to get connected to FastBNB smart contract. Our journey to development, our journey to acquiring of community does not end with FastBNB. My vision has always been to create entrepreneurs and make entrepreneurs go ahead with the usability of cryptocurrencies, which we call it as tokenization. So since contract prays from the instant the user joins yield, so FastBNB is a business model to inflow a positive community with a longer vision of tokenization by insertion of various crypto platforms like travel and tourism, payment gateways, to various ecosystems, insurance, and many more to come in upcoming years. A company which will have its only monopoly in the tokenization market. Not to mention, till today, I have seen many users who are very much concerned to buy assets and wait for their appreciation. But we have never worried or never looked into the application of these assets into real life. So our company will make this dream come true. Over to Brian.
I'm excited. I want to come out to Maldives and hang out. I get questions too a lot. I know this is kind of off task, but we have offices, right? We have offices kind of all over the world.
Yes, we are legally registered. Flamingo Group Pty Limited is legally registered in Australia in all the crypto platforms. It has been our my 2.5 years efforts and my team's effort to develop the world's first crypto smart contract based insurance. So we are soon, you can keep your fingers crossed, like we are soon coming up with the world's first smart contract based insurance in health, medical, and crypto. And one more thing I'd like to announce in this Zoom, because I feel like we have around close to 400 people who are members who are like, I'm excited, like people who are hearing me. So I'd like to say this, in coming times, I can assure you the FastBNB wallets and users will be insured through our crypto insurance. So there is no risk of your investment that you're making in our wallet.
I like that. That's good, because that makes people feel safety too, because not everybody's really, really good at cryptocurrency. Here's a question, and this is probably pretty simple. Why did you choose the BNB coin?
Well, it's pretty simple. Like if you go for like choices like Bitcoin being too costly, hard to afford, because if a normal like I'm looking forward to generating more community. When I'm thinking of community, I have to look at the range of investors or range of people coming into the community. Like if I'm looking to Bitcoins, the Bitcoins, it's quite unaffordable for people who wants to come up with $100 because the transaction fees are really high. Coming to Ethereum, if somebody wants to transfer $10, the transaction fees comes up to $15 as of now. But in Binance, the transaction fees are less, it's pretty fast, and moreover, BNB CZ has got a very good strategy of developing his own platform. And it's really looks awesome. Starting from the year 2017, the inception of BNB till today is the world's third largest asset in cryptocurrency. So that's why we chose BNB. And not to mention, we can have a projection about BNB like December 2022. We are looking forward for an appreciated value of BNB to at least $1,400 to $1,500.
I like that. I can only see that coin going up. I mean, because when I first saw it, it was like $13, and that was still a little late to the party, and it's went up 400 or 500%.
Yes.
So there's tons of questions in the chat, so I can't even remotely keep up with that. But I know you're strapped for time. We have 400 people on here. In layman's terms, in just a short verbiage way, could you explain like what yield farming is and which exchange it? Like which exchange are you guys adding liquidity to? Did I say that right?
Can it come again?
So explain like what is yield farming?
Okay.
And then what exchange are you adding the liquidity to?
Okay. Yield farming works on yield farming is a concept. Okay. Now it's a concept. It's a concept of generating crypto using a crypto. Right. So yield farming in our case, you can actually place it in different ways. Yield farming can be placed in different ways. So how we placed it in our platform, the two terms that we used for yield farming is smart short-term liquidity. This term refers to offering another smart contract a collateral loan for a short term, like few blocks, till they make trade and exceed the same. Another smart contract collateral is hold till its liquidation price, and surcharge of about 3 to 5% is included while retaining the amount. Another is APY staking. Number two is APY staking. Apart from short-term liquidity, FastBNB also uses APY staking for long-term profit gains, ranging from 1 day to 30 days, yielding about 120% to 200% monthly, approximately. Now, your second part of the question was the smart contract and exchanges FastBNB uses for executing. Few of them are Binance, Poloniex, Simplex, PancakeSwap, 1inch BSC, SushiSwap, and Multicoin. Over to Brian.
There you go. No, thank you so much for explaining that. Hold on. Gotta stay muted, folks. I just want to say thank you for your transparency. You know, I'm getting messages, just my phone's blowing up. They're just saying how genuine you are, intelligent you are. Basically, thank you for creating this platform. Thank you for being transparent. And, you know, I mean, that's all the questions I have. I know you're busy. We're streaming this to our group, guys. We recorded this. I'll get this out to everybody. But, you know, as Baman says, happy farming, because this is an incredible opportunity to help so many different people all over the world. You know, we're opening up Africa, we're at Ghana, Nigeria, India. I mean, there's teams popping up everywhere. So, you know, everybody's important, right? And, you know, so we're here to support and work together and to help, you know, like have fun with this, you know. I'm excited for the insurance part. Did you have a timeline on that by chance, or how that would roll out on the insurance part?
Brian, I'd like to also mention that we are a strategic company and we work on a corporate style. This is quite confidential because we don't want our blueprint to be out in the market until unless we have an association. I'd like to tell that our association are with corporate people like Merrill Lynch because this is the biggest and one of the sweetest product that we have. And we consider this is our one of the biggest asset in that I'm going to present to the community. So you can keep your fingers crossed and be patient. We will blow out very soon.
Yes, thank you. And thank you everybody for being on.
Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you, everyone. It was nice talking to all of you. Thank you so much.
Everybody. See you later. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Can I ask something, Stephen? Brian,
you.
oh, is it? Okay. Okay. No.
Recording.
All right, guys, so there you go. This is Earl Dixon, the Bitcoin Man, and as you saw that, let me stop this recording. All right, guys, this is Earl Dixon. I hope you guys enjoyed that live presentation by the owner of FastBNB. Today was a privilege and an honor to be able to have the owner, CEO of FastBNB, who came to the forefront. He didn't hide behind the smart contract. Most owners of a scam, they don't even identify themselves. This gentleman came to the Zoom today, presented himself, and he introduced some technology that they're working on that's going to change people's lives around the world. A smart contract that will allow you to pay for your insurance. You know, billionaires don't become billionaires because they seek out to become billionaires. Billionaires become billionaires like Steve Jobs because they have a solution to a world's problem. Steve Jobs created the iPhone, which was a solution. They turned a smartphone into a supercomputer. He became a billionaire. Bill Gates had a solution, an operating system for, let me go back up to the top, an operating system for the computer, okay? For the laptop and the desktop. People around the world have Windows operating system on their computer. So he solved the problem with an operating system, became a billionaire. Airbnb became billionaires because overnight stay, not in hotels, but in homes. They became a billionaire company because they had a solution to a problem. Now, many people are calling me off of my YouTube channel. Go to my YouTube channel, Earl Dixon, and click subscribe. I will be putting my training videos over there and give me a thumbs up. Guys, stop joining people who don't bring you value. Stop joining people who can't show you how to sign up for the program and then give you strategies on how to grow your money to maximize your returns on your investment. I will be doing training showing you how to compound and get the maximum out of this program. It's not enough to make the money. Einstein says that compounding interest is the eighth wonder of the world. And he who understands it, earn it. That's why I'm in FastBNB. And he who don't understand it, pays it. If you want to learn how to maximize the compounding in FastBNB, you need to be on someone's team who got the knowledge. My phone number is right here. Look at the screen. My phone number is 919-530-8022. I will teach you, hold your hand. Got an iPhone, not a problem. Got an Android, not a problem. Want to know how to set up Smart Chain Network on your iPhone? I got you. Want to know how to set up Smart Chain on your desktop? I got you. I got you. Want to know how to set it up on your Android? I got you. Want to know how to take your Bitcoin and turn it into Smart Chain? I got you. I can show you how to do that. You want to buy Smart Chain directly? I can teach you how to do that. Now, let me do this for a second. Let me just go and show you guys something. Let me go and show you something. This is the type of training that you would get from me. Let's go over and look at the total market cap right now. Bear with me for just a second. Now, I'm going to do something for you guys, right? I'm going to do something for you. Now, currently we're doing $1.7 trillion a day in cryptocurrency. Soon this number is going to be 20 trillion a day very soon by 2025. We're doing 1.7 trillion. When cryptocurrency go mainstream in banking institutions and nations around the world, like El Salvador, who have made their Bitcoin their national currency, which means that they're going to be money moving in Bitcoin every single day because nations will be sending and receiving cryptocurrency. That's when this number is going to go to 20 trillion a day when multiple nations around the world start remittance payments, services through their governments. Going to push this market cap up. Banks using cryptocurrency and digital currency. It's going to push the market cap of the sending and receiving and daily use of cryptocurrency to 20 trillion a day. Now, let's go down and look at currently Bitcoin of that number, $1.7 trillion. Bitcoin did 41% of that 1.7 trillion. Ethereum did 17%. Now let's go look at our coin. Our coin is Binance Coin, which is the fourth largest crypto on the marketplace. So what I'm trying to show you is this. Bitcoin is at $37,000, right? Bitcoin is at $37,000. So let me show you something in a second. I'm going to do some numbers for you guys. So Bitcoin is at 37,000 and Binance Coin is at $383 a coin. So as Bitcoin grow, based on the relationship of the growth rate of a $383 asset that follows the price of Bitcoin and its growth rate, that simply means that currently BNB at the growth rate of Bitcoin, as Bitcoin get to $1 million a coin, let's just say 100,000. I'm gonna do a number for you in a minute. So I'm gonna show you how to determine the growth rate of Binance Coin. And nobody else would teach you this, but I'll teach it to you. The growth rate of Binance Coin in relationship to Bitcoin. Now, being able to get BNB now, not at $37,000 a coin, but at $383 a coin, it's like having Bitcoin or turning back the hands of time and get Bitcoin at $383 a coin. Most people can't buy a $37,000 Bitcoin, but they can buy a $383 Binance coin. But FastBNB allows you to get it and accumulate it for free, 270%, right? So if you put in one BNB, you may end up with 3 BNB in a short period of time. Then you reinvest, you get 6 BNB. That's like having 6 Bitcoins. Pay you 270%. 270%. You drop a 0.5 BNB in there, that's $50, right? So you're literally gonna make on $50, you're gonna make $130. That's 1/3 of a BNB coin. 1/3. By the time you make 270% in 90 days, you got 1/3 of a BNB. So what if you put $100? Listen to me carefully. You put $100 in this program, you're gonna make 270. That's 2/3 of a BNB coin. You put $200 in it. Let's go to the calculator. Let me show you. Watch this. Guys, I'm a numbers guy. Let me show you this. Go to calculator. Nobody else can teach you like this right here. Watch this. So being in FastBNB is like turning back the hands of time and being able to go buy Bitcoin at the price of $383 a coin. So now watch this right here. So if you put in $200 in FastBNB, right, you're gonna make 270%, paying you out at 3% a day. So 270% of $200, watch this, times 270%, literally means you're gonna make $540. You come in with less than one BNB, right? And you divide 540 by 380, divided by 383, the current price of one BNB coin right now. How many coins are you going to end up at the end of 90 days? 1.4. You come in with $200, and at the end of 90 days, you have a whole smart chain BNB, a whole coin. Just about a coin and a half in 90 days. And you did that on $200. Now, let me show you guys something that's so significant. I'm going to play a video for you in just a minute that most people will never get access to. Only being a part of my training is going to break this down to you guys. Some people want to know, where did he get the information when he talked about it's predicted that when Bitcoin hits $1 million, it's going to go to $100,000 by the end of this year. Bitcoin go to $100,000. So where will BNB be when Bitcoin hit $100,000? Well, you really want to know? Let me show you. Let me show you what BNB will be when Bitcoin hit 100,000. So you put in, watch this. So you take $100,000. Watch this. $100,000. We'll look at the growth rate. $100,000. 10,000 divided by the price of BNB today. $100,000 in correlation to where Bitcoin is today. It's at 383 at 37. Let me go back over to CoinMarketCap so you see the relationship. Current price of BNB in relationship to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at 37,000 and BNB is at 382. Now, when Bitcoin hit 100,000 based on stock to flow analysis, watch this right here. As Bitcoin grows, also will what? BNB in relationship. So let's go back over and look at the relationship when Bitcoin hit 100,000. Where will BNB be? That's why you got to get these coins now. Now you take 100,000 and divide it by 383. 383. I'm going to show you the growth rate. Equals 261. 261. So you multiply 261. Okay, no, I said, yeah. 261 times 383. Times 383. And this is where it will be. 383. All right, let me do this again. No, let me do it. Bear with me a second. So if let me do it again. If Bitcoin hit $100,000, 100,000, 1, 2, 3. How many times do $100,000, right? Divide that by the price of BNB, 380, right? Equals. Bear with me for 1 second, please. Bear with me for 1 second. So guys, I'm going to share a video with you in just a second because I'm explaining to you a couple of things, right? Because I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. So I'm going to show you how I came up with the prediction of the price of Bitcoin going to $100,000 and then to $10,000 and then to $1 million. Okay, let me get through this commercial first.
And over again, because it has repeated.
So I'm going to introduce you to a gentleman that's a billionaire. And he used to be a hedge fund manager. He used an instrument called stock to flow analysis. In the stock to flow analysis, he's going to be able to give you the future prediction of the growth rate of Bitcoin. I'm going to go back and do some numbers for you guys again. And apply the principles that you see in this video toward the growth rate of Binance Coin in comparison to Bitcoin, based on the information and the facts provided in this video. So I'm going to introduce the guy. He's a millionaire, and they use instruments formulas, algorithms to predict the future price of asset classes. And he's predicting that Bitcoin is going to surpass gold in 2024. He's predicting that Bitcoin is going to be 100,000 by the end of the year. And then by 2024, it's going to exceed the gold asset class, which is now allowed to grow exponentially to $1 million. And then the exponential growth will continue to grow until it surpasses 10 million in 2029. And then I'm going to take those numbers and go back and use the growth rate that I calculated in comparison to Binance Coin growing right alongside the growth of Bitcoin, and do some computations showing you where your BNB that you accumulate through FastBNB will be and how your money will grow just by owning the asset. So let's look at this now.
Brian Estes, Off the Chain Capital. Always a pleasure to have you back on Real Vision.
Hold on. So let's just. So, all right. So, right here, let's get to know Brian.
Brian Estes, Off the Chain Capital. Always a pleasure to have you back on Real Vision.
Thank you for having me, Ash.
Brian, it's always so much fun to have you on, especially looking forward to this conversation where we talk through Bitcoin valuation, and I think even more broadly than that, your thought process about technology, about markets.
Now, why are we looking at Bitcoin valuation? Because Binance Coin follows the growth rate of Bitcoin as it grows. That's why we're doing this comparative analysis, okay? And this is going to help you understand if you get BNB through FastBNB and hold the asset, hold it. How are your BNB going to grow exponentially alongside Bitcoin? So pay attention. Let's look at the person who's going to introduce the measurement tool that I'm going to use in a few minutes that will show you the future value of your BNB.
And about the way that valuation gets done in general.
Yeah, no, it's been a very interesting space to be in over the last 7 years, and it's fun to see all the traditional asset managers finally starting to pay attention to what's going on. So it's starting to get really exciting.
For a little bit of context, let's talk a little bit about your background and how you got invested and interested in Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. So I started off in traditional finance when I was 22 years old. Started with a company called A.G. Edwards & Sons in St. Louis as a stockbroker. I was doing the retail stuff for a couple of years, and then I picked up a few institutional clients, and I started focusing all my efforts on being an institutional equity broker. So I was there for 14 years. I left in 2004. I was a senior vice president when I left, and started my own registered investment advisory firm in 2004. And basically, I just cherry-picked my top clients and was managing money for them for about 10 years as an RIA. And basically, they were endowments and foundations in the St. Louis area. So I was their outsourced CIO for 7 endowments and foundations, managing about $350 million for them. And then in 2014, I learned about Bitcoin. I saw Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss on CNBC being interviewed by Andrew Ross Sorkin when Bitcoin was around $100. And coming from the traditional finance world, I just thought it was a total scam. I didn't understand what Bitcoin was. I just thought it was this internet funny money. I just didn't comprehend what it was. And it took me a good...
Guys, he thought it was funny money, just like most people think that BNB is funny money. But he's going to wake up. That's why I'm trying to wake you up. So please pay attention. The same way he was sleeping, the education I'm giving you now, a lot of people are sleeping. But hopefully going to wake you up so that you can really get serious about getting the FastBNB, making your investment now so you can experience the growth rate that Bitcoin had. Back then, you can catch it going forward and leverage your assets to experience the growth that's going to have in the future. Let's go.
6 months to figure it out. And after I figured out what Bitcoin was, which is basically just open source internet protocol software that allows us to transfer value peer-to-peer through the internet without having a third party clear that transaction. It just, like a light bulb clicked on, and it's like, I just understood how we're going to rebuild our entire financial system on blockchain technology. And so I convinced my wife into allowing me to sell my practice. And I sold my RIA and became a venture capitalist in the blockchain space. And, I had no idea what, a venture capitalist does, but, that's, kind of, how I got started back in 2014. And then just, got involved and, helped start in building and financing and mentoring blockchain companies. And that's what I've done for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
So now, he sold his business because he was in darkness. He didn't understand the power of Bitcoin and that our new financial system will be built on blockchain technology. But then he woke up. So I'm putting billionaires in front of you that allow you to know the future value of the asset class. Now, we're going to go over, and in this interview, we're going to talk about stock to flow analysis, where they measure asset classes. I'm going to tell you that Bitcoin is going to increase, and it's going to surpass the price of gold, the value of gold in 2024. So let's go fast forward, look at that. And my first goal was to show you who this guy was as he began to do this prediction. Okay. So hold tight. Okay, guys, so let's listen about how they measure the intrinsic value of an asset class. Pay attention to this. This is the key right here.
Potential intrinsic value is something that we touched on before, but this shows kind of a mathematical model for how you correlate the use in terms of the number of wallet addresses and the volume of transactions to the price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is one of my favorite models. Yeah, I'm glad Tom Lee came up with it.
So let's keep moving as we walk through this valuation model, or this sort of different slices, different views of the valuation model. You also look at stock to flow ratios.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's two stock to flow ratios that we look at. One is using dollars, and the other one's using gold as the monetary unit. So the one using dollars, and if you're not familiar with stock to flow, you just Google Plan B or 100 trillion USD, and you'll come up with Plan B's website. And you could read through his methodology on how to, the stock to flow model is built. But this model is 95% correlated to the historical price of Bitcoin. So this one's very accurate too.
So we're looking first here at the dollar denominated stock to flow model. And again, semi-log Y, logarithmic scale on the Y-axis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so on the stock to flow model with Plan B, basically stock to flow models are used to value commodities like gold, diamonds, silver, platinum, palladium. And so if you throw Bitcoin into this valuation method, basically what it shows is that gold is the scarcest asset on earth today. It has a stock to flow ratio of 60-1. So the stock is the amount of gold that's ever been mined, that's above ground, that's being stored. And the flow is the amount of new gold that gets mined every year. So it's a 60-1 ratio. Bitcoin's stock to flow ratio is 45-1. And so gold is scarcer than Bitcoin because it's 60-1 divided by is more scarce than 45-1. But after the next halving, Bitcoin halving in 2024, Bitcoin's stock to flow ratio goes to 90-1. And so Bitcoin becomes the scarcest asset on earth in 2024. And so if you look at the total value of gold today, it's worth about 10 trillion. And the total value of Bitcoin is a little bit more than 1 trillion. And if you think about it, if Bitcoin becomes the scarcest asset on earth in 2024,
Right,
it should be worth more than gold. So to me, that means that Bitcoin should be worth more than $10 trillion in 2024. And that's what this model shows. It just shows it in like a graphical format with dollars.
Now, guys, please pay attention because it's going to tell you where Bitcoin is going to be by the end of this year, where it's going to be in 2024 when it exceeds the price of gold, and where it's going to be as it continues to grow exponentially because it's going to be the rarest commodity in the world, right? Asset class and asset in the world, and how it's going to grow exponentially. And we are going to use some formulas in a few minutes to look at the growth rate of BNB compared to Bitcoin that will show you how the Bitcoin, the BNB that you accumulate today, will grow at the same rate of Bitcoin. In this analysis, I'm going to apply the principles and show you the calculations on my calculator. Let's go.
So what this shows is that at the end of this year, Bitcoin should be worth about $100,000. At the end of 2025, it should be worth about $1 million. And the end of 2029 shows that one Bitcoin should be worth about $10 million. And this model is 95% correlated to the historical price of Bitcoin over the past 12 years. So it's very accurate and it's working as clockwork.
95%.
The financial world is being rocked by the...
Now, I want you to pay attention to what's going to be said next. Pay attention. This is so important.
Two terms.
We talked about like Berkshire Hathaway and, at 8,300, it was, to me, it was overpriced back then 30 years ago. And a lot of people are thinking that Bitcoin is overpriced today because it's $61,000. But if the value of Bitcoin is going to be $10 million in 2029 in 8 years, Bitcoin is really one of the most undervalued assets in the world. And that's the way I look at it. I don't really look at the price of Bitcoin. I look at what the value is. And, and I believe that this model is true. I believe that, one Bitcoin is going to be worth $10 million in 8 years. And, if you're paying less than $10 million of Bitcoin, you're getting a good value. And if you're paying $60,000 of Bitcoin, you're getting a great value. So, one of my goals is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as I can.
My God. So now that says it all. Now let's go to the calculator and do some numbers to you based on the valuation that we just did, all right, on the calculator. So let's go and look at the current price of Bitcoin today, and let's do some numbers. So at the current price of Bitcoin today, the current price of Bitcoin is $37,000. Now let's look at the growth rate, the current value of BNB in comparison to Bitcoin, and how to predict the growth rate of Binance Coin in comparison to Bitcoin based on the numbers that we just obtained, because Binance grows alongside with Bitcoin success. So let's go to calculator. So let's understand the growth rate figures and how to calculate it. So he's talked about Bitcoin being at $100,000. So right now, Bitcoin, you take $100,000, right, 100,000, and divide it by the current price of Bitcoin, divided by the current price of Bitcoin, which is 37,529, 37,529. We're going to show you that, right? We'll look at the growth rate, predict the growth rate of Bitcoin, the growth rate, we can calculate the growth rate of Bitcoin and apply it to Binance because they grow in the same pattern, okay? So let's look at the current price of Bitcoin right now to make sure these figures are right. We got $100,000, which was predicted that's going to be by the end of this year, based on stock flow analysis. And let's look at the current price of Bitcoin on CoinMarketCap, which is 37,529. Go back to the calculator, divide 37,000. 37, let's go look again, hold on. 37,529. 529. All right, so you divide 37,529. It's going to give you the growth rate from now to when they're going to hit 100,000 a coin. I'm going to give you the actual growth rate. That equals, in numbers, that equals 2.6%. So it's going to grow by, that means that Bitcoin will grow by 200%. It's actually 260%, 260%. That's actually 260%, right? But that's the growth rate number that you use. So you multiply 2.6 times the price of BNB. Now, what's the price of BNB? Right? That means it's going to double twice. Bitcoin going to double 2.6 times. 2.6 times to get to 100,000, right? Now, you multiply that 2.6 times the current price of BNB, and we will know where BNB will be when Bitcoin hit 100,000. Where will the price of BNB go as it grows alongside of Bitcoin? So let's go back over to the chart. Let's look at the current price of BNB. That 383.51 will multiply it times the growth rate of Bitcoin times 383.51. And let's see where Binance Coin will be when Bitcoin hit 100,000. That's $1,021. That's this year. So for every one BNB coin you get through FastBNB at $383, by the end of this year, it'll be worth $1,021. Now, let's put in the next number that he used. The next number he used, he said Bitcoin will hit $1 million by 2024 when it exceeds gold as an asset class. Clear the calculator. So we're going to put in $1 million. It's $1 million. Not 10 million, but $1 million. Right? So you divide it by price of Bitcoin, 37,529, day price. Get the ratio, growth ratio, 29. It equals, Bitcoin will grow 26 times the current amount, 26.6 times the current amount to get to $1 million. So now you multiply that same growth rate times the price of BNB, 383.51. And this is where your price of Binance Coin will be when Bitcoin hit $1 million. That's 10,219. So what is that saying to you? That's literally saying that when Bitcoin hit $1 million, every BNB you get today for 383, you can buy it directly and get it through FastBNB. It's going to equal $10,219. How many do you want? How many do you want through FastBNB? Right now, let's go over it. Let's do the last number. Show you where Bitcoin going to be, because he said that in 2029, based on stock to flow analysis, that the price of Bitcoin in 2029 will be $10 million a coin. 10 million a coin. The value of it, 10 million a coin. Now let's look at what happens when Bitcoin hit $10 million a coin. Where would your BNB be if you accumulated BNB right now? 10 million. Nobody does this analysis like me. 10 million. 10 million divided by the current price of Bitcoin. Right, that's 37,521. Numbers in my head. I have to look at the numbers no more. Equals what will be the growth rate? It's 10 million. 266 times. 266.5 and a half times. It's going to grow. 37,000 will grow times 266 times itself. Now you multiply that times, that's Bitcoin growth to get to 10 million. 37,000 times 266 will give you 10 million. Right? Now you multiply that same growth rate times the price of what? BNB. And BNB is 383.51 days value. It'll tell you how much your BNB going to be. $102,212. Who else can do this for you? Who else can show you this type of number? See, let me stop screen share for a minute. Guys, the type of analysis I just did for you can make you a millionaire. Watch who you join. Now, I'm going to be partnered up with some leaders, okay, that's going to help them understand what I'm teaching you so they can help you too. You need to join with people who understand cryptocurrency. I've been doing this since 2010, studying every day, putting hours. They say if you're going to be an expert in anything, you got to put 10,000 hours in you to become an expert. I've done my homework. I've been able to put you in front of millionaires that tell you why they're taking money out of cash and putting it in Bitcoin. Okay? Now, last thing I'm going to show you before we go is a guy named Michael Saylor. Right? A year or so ago, he didn't have no Bitcoin. None. But now he owns over, let's go and look. How many Bitcoin do Michael Saylor owns? Let's see. Ask Google. How many Bitcoin do Michael Saylor owns today? Let's do it again. How many Bitcoin do Michael Saylor owns?
17,732 Bitcoin. According to Markets Insider, Business Insider, MicroStrategy's Michael Saylor owns at least 17,732 Bitcoin, the information reported. That means his holdings are worth about $866 million at Bitcoin's current price of around $48,000.
So Michael Saylor, 1 millionaire, owns out of 20 million Bitcoin, which 1/3 of those are lost, with only 14 million. Here's 1 millionaire that got 17,732 Bitcoin. And I'm going to bring him up and let him show you why he took his company's money out of cash and put his money into Bitcoin. I'm going to show you that right now. Bear with me. Bear with me. All right. Let's see. Bear with me. Let's see. Okay, guys. So I was just showing you how. Let me do this. Bear with me for just a second. So I'm gonna share with you a video of a billionaire named Michael Saylor who got over 17,000 Bitcoin, billions of dollars of Bitcoin, who put 1.5 billion. He started out with 640 million, and because he said that holding his money in company's net worth into cash is like a melting iceberg. Okay. And if he left his money in there because of hyperinflation, it'll all be explained in the video, that he would lose over 75% of his company's net worth holding his company's wealth in cash. So he said, having money, your assets in cash is like a melting iceberg. It's not a asset, it's a liability. So I'm just showing you guys that the world is going to crypto as a store of value. That's what's going to force companies, force the asset class of gold to be more rare than the price of gold, and that's what's going to force the price of Bitcoin to go to the $1 million a coin, then $10 million a coin, because it can be a rare asset. Because companies like his is purchasing Bitcoin as a store of value as opposed to gold. He can explain it, and some people are using Amazon and also Microsoft to hedge their money against inflation in those stocks because they continue to grow during inflationary periods. But listen to this. It will come back to you, and so you can also make the decision that I am about storing my value in Binance Coin, because Binance Coin is ahead of the game, and I can get it at a cheaper price and turn the hands back to the price of Bitcoin. So here we go. Pay attention to this, guys.
What up, Hyperchange? Welcome to another episode. Today we have a really fascinating discussion lined up about Bitcoin. We have Michael Saylor on the line. Michael, welcome to Hyperchange.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you are going to go down as either one of the most crazy geniuses of all time, or just someone that was totally crazy with the recent move you've made by putting a huge amount of your company's cash, instead of holding it as cash, moving it in essentially Bitcoin. And this is following a move that I think Square did that, but you put a huge amount of your cash into it. And I thought this was a fascinating move that is potentially, leading to a very ahead of the curve thing that many, many companies might start doing. And so I'm curious if you could give us a little bit of background on what the company is that you run and how you decided to put a bunch of your cash into Bitcoin.
Sure. Well, I run an enterprise software company. I started it in 1989. I took it public in 1998. We sell business intelligence software to big banks, governments, retailers, organizations everywhere on earth, about 27 different subsidiaries. And, we grow like, it's stable, or we grow 5% a year. It's not like a 20, 40, 50% hyper growth company at this point. It's fairly mature, well run. We generate a lot of cash flow. And when we came into the year 2020, we had like $600 million in cash, and we were generating some cash, and we were saving our money for a rainy day. And we tried to be conservative. We bought back hundreds of millions of dollars of our stock, and we were investing the rest in short-term treasuries. And I remember when short-term treasuries used to yield 5%, and we would have been getting 30, 40 million a year. And it felt like, okay, responsible. And then the Fed just systematically cranked down the interest rates until it got to zero. And then we realized that, well, the cash generates nothing. And then the investors successfully told us they didn't value the cash as anything. Their view was it's just a lump of lead on the balance sheet. And the company was it's almost like a liability. Like your cash is a liability. You either need to buy the stock back or give it to us as a dividend to get any credit for it. So we got to March and we thought, well, we have a lot of treasury cash for a rainy day. And then the rainy day came and it was pandemic. And when the pandemic hit, we actually found that everybody wanted the software. The software business is better than ever because we're just selling software to big enterprises and the like. But our costs decreased because now we couldn't do marketing events and we couldn't travel, we couldn't stay in hotels, and we couldn't go on airlines. And so the company went from having a lot of cash and generating a bit of cash to having a lot of cash and generating a lot of cash. And simultaneously, we saw all these financial assets have a V-shaped recovery. And then we saw Main Street have a K-shaped recovery, the famous K-shaped recovery where restaurants and airlines and hotels and amusement parks and theaters don't seem to be coming back. And yet all of these stocks and bonds are shooting through the roof. So on one hand, I realized I have a lot of cash. On the other hand, I realized I was going to generate a lot of cash. And then I realized it was worthless. And I realized it was worthless because...
Did you hear him say that having cash was worthless? Pay attention. Pay attention, guys. I'm trying to turn the light bulb on. He's putting his money in Bitcoin. And you're going to follow us from the growth of Binance Coin, which is the new Bitcoin, all the way up to what's going to hit $102,000 in 2029. Pay attention, guys. Here we go. Follow the money.
The monetary expansion rate went from about 5% a year to 15% a year. And we actually expanded the money supply by 24% a year in the US this year. So everybody knows about money printing and all the stimulus. Well, I went from not caring to thinking, well, we'll save the cash, get a yield on it, and figure out what to do with it, to realizing that we're going to lose about 15% of our purchasing power every year for the next 4 to 5 years. And so a block of 500 million in cash looks like a melting ice cube. And it felt like highly certain that we were going to lose half of that money in 36 to 48 months if we did nothing. And so we arrived at the Bitcoin investment when we realized that cash is a liability, not an asset. We have to invest.
Cash is a liability, not an asset. Well, let him say it again. Cash is a liability, not an asset. All right, let's hear that again one more time. Pay attention.
Monetary expansion. It's the rate at which the currency is losing purchasing power. And so if the currency is losing purchasing power at 15% a year, then we're all going to lose half of our wealth in 36 to 48 months.
And this is a key part of the thesis. Yeah, and then I wanted to just dive a little deeper here. So why aren't we seeing inflation of prices go up that much? Maybe we are in equity assets, but I'm curious of like...
Hold on.
When we realize that cash is a liability, not an asset, we have to invest in something that'll beat the cost of capital. The cost of capital is the rate of M2 monetary expansion. It's the rate at which the currency is losing purchasing power. And so if the currency is losing purchasing power at 15% a year, then we're all going to lose half of our wealth in 36 to 48 months.
And this is a key part of the thesis.
Now let's stop it here. So from 36 to 48 months, you will lose half your wealth if you leave it in the cash. So now I'm going to fast forward and show you why he took his money out of Bitcoin, out of cash, and put it in Bitcoin. He's going to tell you why. All right, let's fast forward to 249. All right, so follow me right here. Let me show you why he took his money out, and then we'll be done. And then you can make a decision about you and your family's wealth and whether or not you're going to lose it, or you're going to follow people who just don't know, and you don't know why to do what you do. I break it down, and I'm telling you why I'm investing my money into Binance Coin, because I know it follows Bitcoin, and I can't go back and get Bitcoin at $400, $383 coin, but I can get Binance right now. Okay, so now you're gonna ask him why he took his company's money out and put it in Bitcoin. Now pay attention to this.
Also wanted to step back with MicroStrategy. So you told us the story. You're at this point of like, okay, our cash is melting. We're generating a ton of cash flow from the business. How do you go from like, okay, Bitcoin's something to consider to like actually putting the money in? I'm at like your auditors, your board of directors, they must have been a pain in the ass about this. I'm so curious about like how you actually kind of executed this.
So we've got the 500 million in cash, and then we realize we're going to lose all the money if we do nothing. Like it's going to be worthless. It's going to, if I take away if I burn 15% of it a year, how many years are you going to wait until you burned it all before you conclude that that's a problem, right?
So now, same thing with you. Are you going to wait and see your money in cash and lose your family wealth and not be able to generate generation wealth for your family? Or are you going to follow suit and do like the millionaires do? And I'm doing the stock to flow analysis, showing you the comparison of the growth of Binance coin to Bitcoin. You can't get Bitcoin at $37,000 a coin. Most people can't. But what if you can get Binance coin through FastBNB? That's the whole purpose of me breaking this down like this. Yeah, I'm gonna put this on YouTube. You out there? You want to join me? Call me. So Earl, I want to. I understood everything that was in those videos that you showed me. I want to create generational wealth for me and my family because of the way that you breaking this thing down. So pay attention to what you're gonna hear him say, guys. Pay attention.
Like it's going to be worthless. It's going to, if I take away if I burn 15% of it a year, how many years are you going to wait until you burned it all before you conclude that that's a problem, right? So, and that's very clear. So we've got a problem starting in March that's very obvious. Small problem, and it became a big problem. And so the first thing to do is figure out what to do with it.
So what he's saying is that hyperinflation kicked in March at 15% a year, okay? That means that in order for you to make one dime in profit, you got to put your money into an asset that's going to grow. And Bitcoin had exceeded and doubled its price every year. So he took his money out of treasury notes and put it in Bitcoin. That's what he means, right? So you got to have an asset that's going to grow in value. Treasury notes won't the solution no more because the hyperinflation kicked in March of 2021. And your media is lying to you, right? Inflation right now at 15% of March of last year. And sooner or later, they're going to be telling the truth. But by then, most people lost their families' wealth. Pay attention.
So we went through real estate and stocks and bonds, but our conclusion is the only bonds that are going to hold value have to yield more than 15% coupon. Otherwise, you have to keep lowering interest rates. So if interest rates aren't going to go negative, then the coupon's not going to cover the inflation loss, and therefore a bond won't hold value. With real estate, it's the same issue. How are you going to grow your rents faster than 15%? Not easy. So then you go to stocks. So which stocks? Well, you better find, you better buy a super high growth, like Tesla, Amazon. It has to be some on fire, big tech, massive, screaming growth company, because otherwise you can't stay ahead of the 15% hurdle rate. So that's why Tesla kind of works. That's why all of the other stocks, they sort of start to drift up, but over the next 5 years, unless you believe the company can grow its cash flows greater than 15% a year, it's going to fall behind and it won't hold value. So then you go to scarce assets that aren't correlated to cash flows of US dollar currency. So that gets you to gold or silver. Well, the problem with gold is that gold miners produce 2% more gold every year. So there's a built-in 2% inflation rate in gold. And then it's centralized, it's corruptible, and you can print more gold derivatives, and that drives the price down. And ultimately, the big problem with gold is if the price of gold goes up by a factor of 10, the gold miners and the derivatives producers are going to create more gold, and that's going to keep a cap on the price. So how do I find something which is ultimately scarce that feels like gold that you can't create any more of? And that's where you find a crypto. And if you basically designed a crypto network that was 21 million gold coins, and you couldn't produce any more, and then you could audit it every 10 minutes, and then if you convinced $350 billion worth of money to buy into that network, you would have Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, in essence, becomes the first digital monetary network. It's the Facebook of money, because it's, on one hand, It's a synthetic safe haven asset. It's like pharmaceutical grade gold. It's like all the gold, none of the hangover, all the good parts of gold, but none of the bad problems with gold. And it's sitting on a big tech network like Facebook or Google, and you can plug into it. Like no one's ever going to plug gold into an iPhone. You're not going to like punch a button and buy 10 bars of gold on the iPhone. But PayPal and Square have plugged Bitcoin into the iPhone. So Bitcoin is programmable synthetic gold. And if you're trying to find something that is scarce that's going to float on the pool of liquidity as the Federal Reserve and the EU Central Bank print more money, then Bitcoin is that something, because you can't make any more of it. You can program it. And then, by the way, the answer is a crypto asset network. The issue is, why not one of the other 10,000? Will it be copied? Will it be banned? Or will it be hacked? And Bitcoin is at the point where it hasn't been hacked in 12 years. It's been copied 10,000 times, but it's the winner. So you pick, it's like not Friendster, it's not MySpace, it's not Yahoo or AOL, it's the Facebook or the Google. You got to pick the winner. Once something is hundreds of billions of dollars and 20 times bigger than the next like kind thing, then it's the winner. And it's clear it's not going to be banned. It's built into PayPal and Square. There's a senator, there's a congressional caucus. It's been adopted and regularized, and it's been adopted by the SEC and the IRS as property. So you've got crypto asset gold network for the 21st century as a store of value. That's why we adopted it.
That's it in a nutshell. That's it in a nutshell. Now, what are you guys going to do? I've shown you. A lot of people missed out on Bitcoin because they were sleeping. I showed you the venture capitalists who were sleeping, who said now that the blockchain is the new foundation in which our new financial services going to be presented around the world, and it is. And he sold all of his businesses to become a venture capital for blockchain companies. And then he did a start the flow analysis to show you the growth rate of Bitcoin in about 2029. Where Bitcoin will go to 100,000 by the end of the year, $10 million by $1 million by 2024, because it's going to exceed the asset close of gold. That's why millionaires are not putting their money into gold. They're putting it into synthetic gold, which is Bitcoin. So I broke all this down for you guys. Now, I invite you to come over. How do you get in contact with me? Again, you want to get this
like a no-brainer
this
when you explain
FastBNB. How do you get in touch with me? The way you get in touch with me is simply here. Let me show you. All right, because this is about over. Okay, you can reach me right here, right? And 919-530-8022, the Bitcoin Man, right? And I'm going to put my Zoom information in here as well, so you can come to my Zooms or call me for a Zoom personally. I'll do a one-on-one with you. Or you can just get on my Zoom Monday through Friday at 8 o'clock. If there's any interruptions in my Zooms, I'll let you know. Now, how do you get to my Zoom? Let me go ahead and show you that. Put my Zoom link here. Monday through. So here's my information. You can reach me at 919-530-8022. You also can get me Monday through Friday on Zoom at 8 o'clock talking about FastBNB and how to make your 270%, right? FastBNB. And I'll be breaking down how to recompound and get the maximum out of the program. And Monday through Friday at 8 o'clock, it's like a job for me. I'm teaching people how to get started. www.zoom.us. Put in meeting ID number 495-400-2688, or call me personally to have a conversation with me. I don't mind. I'm one of those guys, those big leaders who will answer the phone, have a conversation, which I'm not too stuck on myself that I can't talk to common people. That's what got me here, and I love you guys. All right, so let's go do this. Let's change the world together, and let's make this money. Finance is our new Bitcoin, right? So let's grow together. Let's get BNB, FastBNB, and change the world together. Let's use FastBNB to accumulate as many Binance coins as we desire, so that when it hit $100,000, Bitcoin hit $10 million a coin, we'll have as many BNB coins as we desire, and we'll all be millionaires and create generational wealth for our family. You literally have a chance to get BNB now at $383 a coin and watch it grow to $100,000 a coin. $102,000 a coin. This is Earl Dixon, Bitcoin Man. I want to see you on my team. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Thank you, guys.